Oh, hello everyone, it's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, Selesnya.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the Commander's Brew.
Great to be here, everybody. That's it, the Commander's Brew. You know us, you love us, we brew budget deck. This is the Selesnya episode.
At first, my favorite guild. But
really?
I've since sort of wavered and switched kind of between this and Simic as my favorite guild.
Yeah. I don't want to use negative language.
Okay, don't then.
But one of my least favorite guilds.
Oh, really?
One of them.
You know what? That's so funny because Is It Your Favorite Guild is definitely my least favorite guild.
Huh.
I didn't realize
How can
we were
you not
so
like
opposite.
Is It, though? Is It's the best.
The thing is it's my least favorite. It doesn't mean I don't like it.
That's true. That's true. Like
I actually do like it.
I like Selesnya. I'll play a Selesnya deck. In fact, this deck that I will present to you over these dozens of minutes of podcast time is very fun. I might like to play this one.
Rakdos is also in the running for my least favorite.
Oh man, Rakdos is another favorite of mine.
But I also love Rakdos. Like I love them all, really.
Yeah.
But just those ones.
It's like who's your favorite kid out of kids you have? It's like, I'm not gonna say I have a favorite kid. One of my kids is a bratty, dumb kid and who won't do much in life. So obviously that kid I'd like the least, but I'm not gonna say that out loud.
Yeah, you say it in your head.
But I love them all equally.
Sure. Yeah, I love all the guilds equally except for those two.
I mean, this is probably not the appropriate time to rank all 10 guilds, but Selesnya near the bottom for me.
Wow. Interesting, yeah. My least favorite color is red, so
Yeah.
and I think that's like specifically because of how good it is in EDH, which it is probably the fifth best color in EDH, right? I think we can all agree on that.
On its own?
On its own. Like in a vacuum.
I don't know how to. That doesn't make sense
that's
to
not
me.
even true. In EDH, red cards are generally red is generally the weakest color, because its strengths are so much stronger in the other formats, but EDH is almost built to have them not be as strong.
Sure, I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
You can't take advantage of that direct damage, which
Right.
is so strong in the other formats as
Right.
you can in EDH, right?
Right, the creatures are bigger, so your lightning bolts do less work.
Yeah,
Any
for
format
sure.
where lightning bolt is a bad card
Exactly, lightning bolt, one of the classic best cards of all time,
is a bad
is just
card.
not good in
Yeah.
Commander.
Yeah.
So there you go. Anyways, we're not talking about red today. We're talking about green and white.
Green and white.
We're talking about green and white.
My high school colors.
Oh, really? My high school colors were red and white. My high school was Boros.
I went to a Selesnya high school.
I didn't even think about that. Well, we were the Trojans too, so we were like very Boros.
We were the Raiders.
Oh, cool.
Not a very Selesnya sounding. Although
No.
warriors and soldiers, that's a white thing.
Raiders is more of a black or red thing, I would
That
think.
does seem like that.
Yeah. So we can stay tuned for our episode where we also name all of the teams in the NFL and we say what colors they are.
Yes.
What color, not even their team colors, just what magic colors they are.
Right.
But as you know, we brew in a theme every week here. We do 2 takes, and it's always going to be on a budget, $50 US or less.
We also have YouTube going. If you're watching us on our YouTube channel, you'll notice we are a very casual, relaxed pose this time.
That's right.
We're on a different camera.
We're on a different camera than we've used previously, but we might have used previous episodes.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. Time is a circle.
Time is a circle. Time is nothing to us. Time is liquid. Okay, so of course, we're brought to you by
The Wizard's Tower. WizardTower.com. Here's an ad.
Hey everybody, it's me, plucky journalist from the plane of Innistrad, trying to get you the scoop and get you the latest story. Unfortunately, Tamio's always beating me to the punch. She's doing all of her investigating every place, dropping clues everywhere. If only I was able to crack mana to open up clues, but I don't have access to mana. I'm just a simple person. Anyway, here's one story I got. Let me let you in on this one. How about Tower of Brews? That's the coupon code that works at wizardtower.com. The Wizard's Tower, to get you 5% off your order of singles, $15 or more in Canada. And get a load of this. You can buy from Canada or the United States on wizardtower.com, and they'll give you the shipping for free if it's over $15 or $10, Canada, US, respectively. And get a load of this. They'll also give you 3% kickback. What a deal! Oh man, I think I'm onto something here. So you're going to go on to wizardtower.com, you're going to make an order $15 or more in Canada or $10 in the US. They're going to ship it for free. And then they're going to give you 3% kickback. You're going to put in Tower of Brews to get 5% off because of those lovely gentlemen off the Commander's Brew podcast. Oh boy, things are turning up for me. Now I just got to go over here and... Ooh, a tentacle? Don't mind if I do. This looks like it could be a really important clue. Hope nothing bad happens to me. Doop, 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 doop.
Great ad.
Great ad.
I love them.
Yeah.
I love the ads of coming from Innistrad. I love coming from all the different planes. We're just glad to be able to really contact those people because they're fictional.
You would need a spark.
You need a spark. And
yeah.
So are you saying we got sparks?
We got sparks,
we got
baby.
Sparks. We got sparks. We got sparks for days. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So is there anything we need to talk about before we get into this?
July 31st, our next Brew and Brawl. Check us out on Twitch TV/CommandersBrew from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's whatever time it is in Toronto. We are going to brew a deck with the gang who's watching, and then we're going to play with some of the gang who's watching.
That's right. And we've done 2 of these now, and they've been super fun.
Super fun, guys.
And we've built some cool decks out of it, and we played with some cool people on MTGO. If you don't have a Magic Online account, don't even worry. Just come and buy and help us brew the deck. Help us give us card suggestions and stuff like that. And
yeah, it's fun.
Let's ask us any questions you want, too. It's all live. The chat's right there.
Yeah.
We also archive them, and you can actually view last month's on twitch.tv/CommandersBrew.
I don't know how their archive works.
They're just in the video section.
But it's not forever.
No, it's not forever.
I don't know the time limit you have.
I don't know either. So I guess it very well could not be there anymore.
I don't know.
We don't know.
But we will archive them just so if you work that day, you can watch it in the next week or so. Surely you got a week, right? Surely.
I mean, the thing's like 3 or 4 hours long because we actually ended up playing some Sealed League.
We played some Sealed League afterwards. Yeah, we won a match and then we got our butts handed to us.
So if you got an extra 4 hours, go check us out.
All right. Let's do this one.
Let's do this one.
Who are we brewing around? Andy, I am brewing around one of Selesnya's voices.
Yes, the voice of Selesnya, I would
Trostani, Selesnya's voice. Green, white. Ain't no generic mana in that.
Nope.
Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. By the way, legendary creature Dryad 2/5. And for 1 white-green and a tap, Trostani can populate. That is to say, put a token onto the battlefield that is a copy of another token creature that you control.
Very first commander I ever built.
Nice.
This is when I started playing Magic. Was the Return to Ravnica era, really, when I was really getting into it and building decks and stuff. And that's when I discovered EDH, and I had this card, and I was like, well, actually, I built a 60-card Populate deck, which I'm sure tons of people who were starting Magic around that same time as me did. And I went out and got this card for it, and then I was like, you know what? I heard about this thing called EDH. Heard about this thing where you need a legendary creature. This is the only one I got, so let's do it.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Trostani, one of my, and will always have a special heart. I still a special place in my heart. I still have that deck together that I've tweaked a lot.
Yeah.
Since then. So
yeah.
Trostani is one of my favorites.
Who you brewing?
I'm brewing around a creature that I have barely even heard of before this. Barely knew about until I saw it. And I was like, oh yeah, that guy. It's Krond. Krond, the Dawnclad.
Krond, the Dawnclad.
Same thing here. No generic mana in this mana cost. We're talking all greens, all whites, 3 green, 3 white for a 6 mana, 6/6 legendary Archon. Whenever Krond, the Dawnclad, attacks, if it's enchanted, exile target permanent. Love it. Oh man.
That's big.
Flying in Vigilance, which I did forget that it had Vigilance when I was brewing the deck. So I had a bunch of things that gave it vigilance, and then I played with it once, and I was like, oh, wait, he has vigilance already. So then I took those out and replaced them with better stuff. So Krond the Dawnclad, cool commander. Using that, I didn't think auras were really much of a green-white thing, and they kind of aren't as much anymore. But they were back then, and there are a lot of great green and white auras kicking around. So yeah,
Truth.
very easy to build a cool deck with this guy. So we wanted to illustrate two sides of Selesnya here. Right?
Yes.
We've got the going tall with the building up of auras on Krond, and then we've got the going wide with the populating of Trostani. And of course, life gain is a huge theme in this guild. White obviously being the main side of that, but
And green from Stream of Life.
That's right.
OG.
Green loves life gain.
Alpha card.
That's right. Do you have it in there?
Stream of Life. I do not run Stream of Life.
No, you don't run Stream of Life.
I love X spells. You guys know I love X spells, but Stream of Life, I will never use.
We should brew around Stream of Life.
Stream of Life.
we should brew around alpha cards for an episode.
Oh,
That's a challenge.
but like unlimited, like also like revised and like fourth.
Yeah,
edition.
the whole like the first set.
That
of
era.
Magic. Yeah, that era. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways,
Wow.
so what are the main things that Trostani's going to do here?
So with Trostani, right, we gain life whenever their toughness, whatever their toughness is when they enter the battlefield. So I decided to, although this is a token deck, not to do puny little 1/1 tokens. I'm talking 3/3s or bigger.
Right.
2/2s need not apply to this token build.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So 2/2s and 1/1s are forsaken here.
Don't want them. I'm talking sapperlings, get out of here. Wolves, see you later. I'm talking beasts. I'm talking angels. I'm talking worms.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I built my Trostani deck eventually.
Couple of centaurs.
Went big. Oh, yeah, I love the centaurs. That's why I did that, because of the 3/3 centaurs in
Yeah.
Return to Ravnica.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think Krond is pretty self-explanatory. The ability right on him lets you know what you want to do with him. We're going to be suiting him up with the auras, and then we're going to be swinging with him and trying to kill with commander damage, and also being able to sort of exiling a permanent is so powerful that you don't. You'll be able to get things out of the way, obviously, to hit Krond hit, and I think let Krond hit. That's going to be the main focus of the ability, but you can also use this as a political tool. If there's something out there causing everyone trouble, Krond can sometimes take care of it. You got to protect them, of course. And one of the main keys of this creature and this strategy with him is you need to ramp. All you want to do in the first half of this game is just ramp.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to get green, white.
Yeah, that's
so
no
your
tall
ramp
order.
isn't going to come from traditional artifact ramp or anything like that. You're going to ramp your lands, or you're going to ramp into things that tap for colored mana only.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the specific categories.
Let's break it down.
What did you do? Yeah.
So we're talking about big tokens. So let's talk about Armada Worm. It's a 5/5 for 2 green, white, 6 total. For a worm, it has trample, and it says when Armada Worm enters the battlefield, put a 5/5 green worm creature token with trample onto the battlefield. Cool. So he basically has 2 heads. He doubles himself up. Also, for 6 mana, we're getting 10/10 worth of power spread over 2 creatures.
Unreal.
Huge.
This is one of the best cards in any Trostani build.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Less
Gain
than $1.
10 life, get 2 huge things.
It is a mythic rare, but
yeah.
it's under $1 still, because I guess it's a bit narrow. But, I mean, if you ever want to do green white tokens, get this now, because it's mythics only go up, right?
Pretty much. I mean, unless they get reprinted. But
like
yeah.
Trostani was like 50 cents for a long time, and now she's a few bucks.
I remember buying her at like $2.
Really?
Well, back then.
I feel like she got dirt cheap at one point.
But I bought her during standard. That's why she was expensive.
Oh, okay.
Because I think people are still trying to make that work, but
Yeah.
she never really did, I don't think.
Let's talk about another great token maker. This is a repeatable spell because it's got buyback.
Ooh.
It's Worm Calling. Love them worms. X and a green for a sorcery with buyback for 2 and a green. So if you pay the buyback cost, this spell goes back into your hand inside the graveyard. Put an XX green worm creature token into play. So if you're willing to make the worm 3 smaller, you get to have the spell back in your hand to do it again.
Right.
So you could make a 9/9 worm for 10 mana, or you could make a 7/7 worm and have the spell back for next turn. I'm probably going to do the latter.
Yeah, you're going to buy this back as much as possible.
You're going to buy back a ton.
Because after board wipes, you're always going to want to create a token.
Yeah, and a lot of, as we'll see, there's a lot of things that care about creatures with a certain level of power or a certain level of toughness. We want that at 5, ideally. So ideally, X should equal 5, and we're going to do the buyback. So in a perfect world, we're paying 9 for this to get a 5/5 every time. That's pricey.
It's pricey. It's a
But
lot.
that's a lot, but like it will reap its own rewards.
Yeah. The fact that you gain the life with Trostani just helps, it helps so much.
Huge.
You're not really too worried about people attacking into you.
No.
Cool.
Okay, next big is Moon Silver Spear. This is an equipment. It is an artifact equipment for 4 mana. Equipped creature has first strike. I'm dealing with a lot of 5/5s anyway, a lot of big creatures, so giving them first strike is awesome. Whenever equipped creature attacks, put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying into the battlefield. It is not attacking, so it doesn't enter the battlefield tapped and attacking, but who cares?
Why? Yeah, why would you? That's not better.
I want an angel.
Because what if they have a thing that can block it?
Sure.
Yeah,
What
right?
if they do? What if they do?
You don't want that.
No, that's all right. And it equips for 4, so it costs 8 mana to drop it and equip it same turn. But man, just all those angels, because like a lot of these tokens, we don't care if they attack and die.
Yeah.
That's fine. So I'm just gonna turn a 3/3 beast into an angel, no problem.
Yeah, with Trostani, you just want to get the token out, and then you can protect it with her ability, right? So it's like, oh, is someone going to kill your tokens? Like, big deal. Populate in response. Right?
Populate.
Love it. Trostani, one of the best commanders.
It's so powerful.
So fun. So for Krond, though, we got a very different approach, right? We got different stuff going on. So let's take a look. First thing we're going to do is we need auras, right? We're going to have a lot of auras. And in having a lot of auras, having other auras that are better because you have a lot of auras are maybe the best auras. So
say auras again.
Auras.
Okay.
So one of these from Marcadian Masks and reprinted in Eternal Masters is Ancestral Mask. It's a 2 and a green for an enchantment, an aura. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each other enchantment on the battlefield. So it's not even just auras; it's just any enchantments out there.
Oh, and that's just ones that your opponents control too.
Exactly. That's why this is such a strong card. So a lot of times, so this just says if no other enchantments are out, that your creature will get +2/+2, which is actually not bad at all. It makes Krond into an 8/8, which is pretty deadly commander, right?
It's over that 7 line, right?
Over that 7 line, which is huge.
3-hit kill.
A lot of times, though, you'll have 2, 3 others plus whatever your opponents have. Sometimes this is just straight up give your commander +10/+10, which is quite good. And very late game, this can put your commander right over the top. And that's not even counting the other bonuses that whatever auras you're getting.
Does Krond have trample?
Krond does not have trample, but he has flying, which is, of course, very good evasion.
Very good evasion.
As well. Native flying and native...
First strike.
No, vigilance.
Vigilance, right.
Which
we
is
even talked about it.
So good in Commander.
Yeah.
Right? This is going to protect you as well as be on the on
Yeah.
the offensive, so it's great. Ancestral Mask, one of the best ones you can get.
Yeah.
Next card we got here is Serpent Skin. This one goes on the other direction, sort of. Whereas Ancestral Mask makes them as big as possible. This one adds a little bit of a boost, but also offers that protection that you want when you're dealing with a Voltron commander. Serpent Skin is 2 and a green for an aura that says enchanted creature gets +1/+1. Okay, sure. And it has green regenerate enchanted creature.
Ooh.
So that's great. That's very good. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that Wrath of Gods is not going to work against. But for the most part, this is going to protect you from most board wipes, direct damage, kill spells, that sort of thing. So while it's, maybe not it's not the best form of protection, which we have other forms, but Serpent Skin also gives that little bit of a power boost, which is nice. And the 1 green is not a lot to pay. It's easy to leave 1 green up to regenerate them, and that can be such a deterrent sometimes for people, whether they're attacking you or to block or whatever.
It's brutal because a lot of us run board wipes as like insurance.
Yeah.
So if anything gets real ugly, I'll wipe the board. And I will always be losing some things as well when I wipe the board, but hopefully my opponents are losing way more than I'm losing.
Right.
But here's the thing where it's like, player 3 is dominating. I have to wipe the board to take away his board, but now player 2, Andy here, is going to have his commander still going. Like, I can't, but I got a Wrath, right? You got to do it.
Yep. And don't forget that any enchantment on Krond means that when you attack, you exile a permanent every time you attack. So,
Woof.
Sometimes you put like a weaker aura on them just so you can get that that ability. Another one that's sort of like Ancestral Mask is Sage's Reverie.
I love this one.
What are you doing that?
I'm throwing up the sign that I love this card.
Sean's given like an upside down peace sign. If you're watching the YouTube version, you know this already. But he loves Sage's Reverie. That's because it's an aura. It's 3 and a white, and it says, when Sage's Reverie enters the battlefield, draw a card for each aura you control that's attached to a creature.
That replaces itself.
That's very good. Oftentimes, you will be able to get 2, 3, 4 cards off of Sage's Reverie. In addition to that, it says, enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura you control that's attached to a creature. Another upside down peace sign from Sean. Loving it.
I hope that's not a rude gesture in other countries.
It is in other countries. No, but it's when you do it like this.
Well, that's sort of what I was doing.
No, you're doing upside down. You're doing it on the side. You're like,
That doesn't matter? Okay.
Boy. You're doing that one.
I'm sorry if that's offensive
If you
to anyone
do
in
the
other
peace
countries.
sign but backwards, so
You're doing it right now.
So the peace sign to yourself,
Yeah.
showing 2 to someone, that means like F you, bud.
F you, bud.
It means just the same thing as a middle finger. Which is what it means. In case you guys didn't know, it means F you, bud. So yeah, those are some really great auras. We got some really cheap ones in here. We've got some more expensive ones. But yeah, these are some key auras you're going to want for your Krond.
Krond auras. All right, so let's go back to Trostani and her menagerie of beasts and angels and worms. We're going to take advantage of the creatures, right? Because we get to put out more creatures than the average deck because a lot of our creatures are in token form. We don't need individual cards. So let's talk about cards that make a benefit because of that. Garrick's Pack Leader.
Ooh, love it.
4 and a green for a beast who's a 4/4. Whenever another creature with power 3 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Remember when I said how big my tokens are minimum? 3/3. Every token triggers Garrick's Pack Leader. So I'm going to be drawing cards all over the place. Armada Worm, that's 2 card drawn right there.
So huge.
Cool. Another card that helps out the team really well is called Drum Hunter. Drum Hunter is a creature. He says 3 and a green for a human druid warrior, 2/2. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power 5 or greater, you may draw a card. He also taps to add 1 generic to your mana pool. So he's mana ramp right there. We have a lot of big expensive stuff. Making big tokens is not always cheap. So that mana ramp is very useful. Plus, at the end of my turn, extra card in my hand.
I love Drum Hunter.
Drum Hunter's great.
It's a bit of ramp, sort of at the early stages for an EDH game. And yeah, got card draw is great. You already got a 5 power creature down. When you play this guy, you're going to draw a card the same turn you play him. It's
Same
awesome.
turn, yeah. Great. And then this one's new. I never saw this guy
Ooh, I've
before.
never seen this one before.
Mycoid Shepherd. For the mere price of 1 green, white, you get a 5/4 fungus creature. Whenever a Mycoid Shepherd or another creature you control with power 5 or greater is put into a graveyard from play, you may gain 5 life. This guy's a 5 power creature, so he's going to trigger all of our benefits that want creatures with power, and he's just extra insurance. It's like, okay, great. Now you're going to wrath the board? You're going to kill all my 5/5s? Cool, but I'm going to gain 45 life off of it. Not to mention the 40 or so life I've already gained from Trostani.
Wow. That's redundancy. That's built-in redundancy. Even if you don't have Trostani out there, this guy's going to gain you that life if your creatures die.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about it, but I have an Anthem in here too, so which makes all my 4/4s into 5/5s. So like,
That's
and
nice.
all the 5/5s into 6s,
Do
etc.
you have that Anthem that's +3/+3 to everything?
No, I don't. I run the one that brings a creature back from the graveyard because there's certain creatures like I want on the board, like Garrick's Pack Leader. If that guy dies, I want him back.
You want him back for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So back to Krond and the auras. Like I said,
That's a band from the 50s.
That's his band. Yeah. By
Krond
the way,
and the
I
auras.
always have this with the Archon creature type. Is the Archon the guy on the beast, or is it the beast?
Oh,
Like we've had
this came up
We've
again.
had this
Yeah.
discussion before with the the black and white one.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that one, but But yeah, like, I think the Archon has to be the guy, but there's a lot of stuff where it refers to like the beast. Like, it's weird.
I think it's the combination.
Yeah, maybe it is the combination. Maybe you're an Archon when you're riding your
Like-
steed,
Yeah, like if you're like a horse fighter,
like a horseman.
like a horseman. You're only a horseman when you're on your horse. A horse by itself is just a horse.
Could you not be a horseman off of a horse?
Well, I mean, that could be your title, that could be your job, but like you are not a functioning horseman without a horse. You're not doing what you're meant to do.
But can I go like, hey, I'm an Archon. I'm not on my beast right now, but I'm an Archon.
I think the appropriate way would be like, hey, my day job is as Archon.
I'm when I combine with my animal from my shed out there, I'm an Archon.
When I'm not at these cocktail parties, I'm an Archon. But right now, I'm just Jeff.
I'm just Jeff the Archon. Okay, so so I said we need ramp, and that goes for any commander deck, obviously. But in this one, it's very important, and very important the specific kind of ramp we get. So we're running a card that I don't usually run a lot, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. It's Llanowar Elves. I usually don't run Mana Dorks. I usually like to run the things that will get me lands or the artifacts, which are a little harder to kill, because these guys will die to board wipes.
Yeah, easily.
And then there goes that mana ramp that you've put into your deck. It's gone. But in this deck, it's so important to ramp into Krond and to get, like I said, the right mana, the green and the white pips, that Llanowar Elves and creatures like it, including Avacyn's Pilgrim, which is a very similar creature. These guys actually are very, very good, and are good enough that you really want them. Obviously, you want them in your opening hand. Later, they're not quite as good, but that's how it rolls with these guys. So Llanowar Elves, I don't need to read this, right? It's 1 green and it's a 1/1. It taps to give you green mana. Avacyn's Pilgrim is 1 green for a 1/1. It taps and gives you white mana.
Great.
So get them in there, run them. They're very good. They help you get your creatures and all that sort of stuff. And in a pinch, you can suit them up if you need to and get some bonuses that way, but you probably don't really want to do that. Next in the ramp category is another, it's kind of similar to those two I just read, but we're going to use some different mirrors here. We got gold mirror and we got copper mirror. And the good thing about these guys is gold mirror taps for white, is a 2 mana 1/1, 2 colorless. Taps for white, and copper mirror is the same thing but taps for green. The good thing about these guys is that if you're off your color, they give you access to that color. Whereas Llanowar Elves and Avacyn's Pilgrim, Llanowar Elves gives you need green to have it. Same thing with Avacyn's Pilgrim. Avacyn's Pilgrim will give you access to white if you don't have it, obviously. But Gold Mirror and Copper Mirror will do the same thing for opposite. So if you're stuck on white, get your Copper Mirror, there's your green, right? So it just helps. Just helps with that. Little fixers in this deck. Like I said, it's worth it to run the Mana Dorks. So we got a couple of them in here, and they're great.
Copper turns green when it is old.
That's right. Is it when it's old or is it when it's oxidized?
When it's oxidized, but when
old,
it's
right?
old, it gets
Same
oxidized.
thing. Yeah.
Gold is not white, and it never turns white.
I don't know why they did that.
Iron makes red.
Why wouldn't they have done like there is
silver makes
mirror,
blue?
Silver mirror's blue, right?
Yeah. And then what makes black again?
I don't remember. Ebony? No.
No.
That's a wood.
It's a metal. Anyway.
I don't remember. I don't know.
I don't remember either.
Anyways, those guys are all right. And then, I mean, these are all like so basic, but they actually serve such a purpose in Krond. I got Rampant Growth in here, which is the ramp.
Good old rampant
growth. I mean, you guys don't need me to tell you what rampant growth does or why it's good or whatever. It's 2 mana and search your library for basic land, put it into play. But the key is getting this early. So these cards, which are better and more likely played in like limited and other constructed formats, they're actually really good in this deck because you want them early. You want to be able to get specific colors and stuff. So you're just going to run these basic, classic ways of ramping. And I wanted to point that out. Because you need to hit green, 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 white, white, white. These are some of the best ways to do it.
We got to get there.
We got to get there.
Yeah, okay. So ramp is key in Andy's deck. But let's go back to Trostani's build. We talked about some great token makers and ways to take advantage of it. Now let's talk about cards that make lots of tokens at once. These are sort of like your jackpot cards. Devout Invocation, 6 and a white. That's 7 altogether. Sorcery. Tap any number of untapped creatures you control. Put a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying onto the battlefield for each creature tapped this way. Holy crow.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say I got 6 creatures down. Cool. Now I got 6 4/4 angels. I've also gained 24 life. Your turn. Huge.
Card's bonkers. It always seemed a little overkill to me in this type of deck because, like I said, I have the same type of Trostani deck where it makes bigger tokens. So so I didn't have it in for a long time, and then I did put it in, and then you realize you're like, oh yeah, it is overkill. But in Commander, sometimes you really need overkill, you know?
Right. And well, the thing for me is like. If you can have a way to give your whole team vigilance, like this is no good if you're just like, well, I would rather attack with my 5/5s, right? I'm making smaller flying creatures for them. But if you are ways to give your whole team vigilance, of which there are many, you can then just attack with your whole team anyway, and then just be like, cool, now I'm going to tap them at the end of my turn and make a bunch of angels. I've gotten my attack through. I don't need them for defense because I got all these angels to defend.
That's a good point. Usually you need to sort of sacrifice an attack step for this.
Yeah.
And usually when you have a lot of creatures out, that's what you want to do next is attack.
Right.
So if you can give them vigilance, Devout Invocation becomes even that much better. That's great.
Cool. Let's talk about fresh meat.
Ooh.
Love it. 3 and a green for an instant. Put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield for each creature put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn. Even if you're sacking them yourself for some reason, after any board wipe or whatever, just running a bunch of guys into a board and a lot of them die, you just get them all back. Fresh meat is a great way to get a ton of creatures onto the board at the same time. Big fan.
We freshed meat in our last Brew and Brawl.
Yes.
One of the only times I've seen it be really good because it's a very situational card.
Yes.
But in those situations, it's very good.
I believe in the Brew and Brawl, if I recall correctly, we had a few goblins out and we sacrificed them to Ashnod's altar.
Because we were faced with a board wipe, I think, or something, weren't we? No.
No, Triskelion was nuking them.
Right, that's what
So
it
we
was,
were like,
yeah.
fine, you want to kill one goblin? I'll sack it to Ashnod's altar, give myself 2 mana. Oh, you want to nuke another one? I'll sack it to give 2 more mana. Oh, you're not going to nuke the third? That's fine, because I'm going to sack it anyway, and I'm going to pay 1 green with all this extra mana I've got,
Yeah.
and then just fresh meat them all. Not to mention Warstorm Surge.
So they all became 3/3s, and yeah, we also just happened to have Warstorm.
Oh, man, what a game. What a
fun.
game. But yeah, fresh meat, so cool. And after a board wipe, like just holding 4 up, it's like cool. Wipe that board. You will not succeed.
A lot of times, with just one of the reasons this card is so good in Trostani is you do want to leave mana up with Trostani because you want to be populating, right?
Yeah.
On your opponent's end step. So it doesn't look fishy to leave 3 or 4 mana up.
Yep.
Most of the time, and people will board wipe, and then you'll fresh meat, and what a joke!
The meat is fresh.
Raw meat.
This is a new one from the new Commander set, Izuri's Predation. It's expensive. 5 green, green, green. That's 8 altogether. But it's a sorcery that says for each creature your opponents control, put a 4/4 green beast token creature onto the battlefield.
Wow.
Each of those beasts fights a different one of those creatures. Whoa.
So you can't team up beasts fighting to bring down like one big guy.
No. Anything with more than 4 toughness won't die.
Right.
Unless you give all your creatures death touch.
But they all do enter.
They all do enter, so I get
Gain a lot of life.
a boatload of life.
Yeah.
And have killed anything with 4 toughness or less.
Yeah.
And that's if I don't have an Anthem out, right? If I got an Anthem out and they all come in as 5/5s, that'll do.
There is that one Selesnya Anthem that gives everyone +3/+3.
That's true.
Killer with this card. It's crazy.
I should think about putting that in.
7/7s all around. for
Oh my
everybody.
goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And they're left over.
Yeah, so you'll
They
never
don't
have a
get
few left
exiled,
over. This card's
right?
great.
Yeah.
This card's a lot of fun. Okay, so back to Krond. So we've ramped in and we've got auras. So extra protection is always needed when you have a Voltron commander. Always. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. We're going to protect the commander and ourselves, actually. And one of the key way to protect yourself while you're sort of ramping and hoping to get to your commander and casting these auras that aren't really going to affect your opponent's boards that much Sphere of Safety is the best way to protect yourself and preserve your life total. It's 4 and a white for an enchantment that says creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays X for each of those creatures, where X is the number of enchantments you control. So it's no it's no secret that we're going to have a lot of enchantments with this deck, and a lot of times you might play 1 or 2 of the enchantments on these smaller creatures, just to sort of because there's some that you can move around, and there's some that just like, when this guy hits, you draw a card. So you might play that on your Llanowar Elves and just sneak in to a person who doesn't have any blockers and draw a card or whatever. So Sphere of Safety is really good the turn it comes down, and it also counts itself, right? So
minimum 1.
Minimum 1, and most likely 2 or 3. So then you're looking at a propaganda, which is pretty great. The other one that would do this in these colors, of course, is what is it?
Ghostly Prison?
Ghostly Prison, that's it. And it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
I looked into that.
So why isn't this one's that expensive?
Because this one costs 1 more, I think, and it's...
1 more is a few dollars less?
It's situational, too, right? Like, you do need to have more than this guy out, whereas Ghostly Prison, that can be the only enchantment in your whole deck, and it still does what
I
what you
guess
want.
so.
Paying an extra 1 isn't that hard, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so another way of protecting both your commander and yourself is to wrath the board and have your commander stay alive. So Winds of Wrath is such a good card when you're talking about aura commanders. It's 3 and 2 white for a sorcery that says destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They can't be regenerated. So here's one of those things where, we're stopping the regeneration, but guess what? We don't even need to use it because we're not going to destroy our commander. This card is great too because if you want, you can spread around those enchantments and save a key creature. For example, one of the ones I'm going to bring up later. I won't spoil it.
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but you can drop one of your smaller auras on there and still get benefit and protect them from the Winds of Wrath if you know you have it in your hand or something.
Yeah.
So very, very good card. Very good card for aura generals. And finally, Spectra Ward. One of the best auras in that it simultaneously protects your commander while giving them so much evasion. Spectra Ward's 3 and 2 white. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from all colors. This effect doesn't remove auras. Because normally it would, right? That's part of the protection thing.
Because auras have a color usually.
Right. Cannot be damaged, cannot be blocked by, cannot be enchanted by,
right?
and cannot be targeted by.
Right.
That's what protection is, right?
Right. So it even works if it's after the enchantments have been attached.
No. So Spectra Ward... Oh, wait, I don't know what you're saying there. So Spectra Ward, if you got 2 or 3 enchantments on your commander, you can play Spectra Ward on them, and it won't remove those enchantments.
It won't remove them, right. Because
however, it will protect you from enchanting them further.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct.
Right.
But whereas like normal protection, even if you gain protection after you have auras on you, it'll drop off the auras.
They will fall off.
And so a lot of people don't always think that. If anyone's got you under an aura, like a this creature does damage to its controller, or this creature can't attack or block, and you have a way to give your creature protection, give it protection from that aura color.
Yeah.
And you'll knock those auras right off.
Falls off. Cannot be enchanted by. That is one of the pillars of protection. So Spectral Ward is really great. Obviously, there's a bit of a downside in that you can't, once Spectral Ward's on, you can't enchant it any further.
But is that so bad?
There's a lot of times where, I mean, this is a 5-mana enchantment too, right? So you're not, this is going to come a bit later. So enchanting him with Spectral Ward, you're usually pretty pleased to just get it on there.
Well, who's going to touch your commander from that point on?
It's pretty much impossible.
Like you have to have a a devoid instant to do it.
The greatest is when you get one of the indestructible enchantments on him, and then you put this on. Then it's like, well, now you just need mass exile. You have to have mass exile, otherwise this commander is out here forever. Forever. So run those mass exile spells. Sometimes they are the only answer to a specific troublesome commander. Spectral Ward, great card.
Whoa.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah, so I ragged on Selesnya a bit at the beginning, but I like this. I like the idea of just churning out giant monsters. I guess that's why I said before that I love Izzet because Izzet is just like a machine with a million moving parts. This is a simple, this is like a bicycle, right? It does one thing, it goes.
Yeah.
Right? We make giant things, we beat with the giant things, we come out on top.
You know why I love Selesnya so much is because they are the two best, I think, utility colors, like the colors that that do all the stuff you want them to do to help you do what the other color does, right?
Yeah.
So like blue is arguably, a lot of people say blue is the best color in Commander and probably is in Magic, but in Commander blue is so strong, black is so strong, but a lot of times for it to get out and under in front of those, better decks, better colors and stuff, you want to pair it with a green or a white. White I think is the best support color. It does everything you want. It handles everything. It handles creatures, enchantments, artifacts, everything, right?
Yeah.
Green ramps, has big creatures, has small creatures, can draw cards, can gain life.
Also can
They're
handle
both so
artifacts and enchantments. Yeah,
absolutely. So these two colors combined, they just do everything.
Yeah.
Which is there's a lot of different commanders that you can pick and go a lot of different ways with them. So I like this color combination.
Yeah.
Great. So
straightforward utility colors.
there you go. So let's take a look at the 3 stars. What do we got going on for the Selesnya deck here?
Okay, so the third star of Trostani's big token deck is Garrick's Pack Leader. This is the guy that any time a creature with power 3 or more enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Right. So you're never going to deck yourself if you cast an Azuri's Predation for 1 million or Entreat the Angels or whatever. You're just like, well, I guess it's going to be fine.
Love it.
You can draw as many as you want. It's just so useful. And 3 power, everything has got 3 power in this deck, basically. Let's talk about Rampaging Baloth. Star number 2. 4 green for a beast that's a 6/6 with trample and landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may put a 4/4 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. If I got Garrick's Pack Leader, I'm also drawing a card.
It's a very dangerous card to have out when you have Trostani.
Yeah.
4/4 beasts get so troublesome for your opponents so quickly.
So troublesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can populate them too. Number 1 star of the deck, Primeval Bounty. This is an enchantment that costs 6. It was a mythic from M14. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. That's great.
That's great.
Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put 3 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's great. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 3 life.
Yep.
This card does it all.
Primeval Bounty.
Primeval Bounty. And a lot of my spells that make beasts, those will put counters on existing beasts. Or I'm just going to cast beastie creatures and get backup beasts. Garrick's Pack Leader is going to have me draw on the cards the whole time. I'm going to be gaining life all the time. This deck has a real boulder on a hill effect, where once you let it get going, it just rolls over.
Yeah,
over you. It doesn't roll over and die.
It rolls over your opponents.
Yes. It doesn't roll.
It doesn't just roll over.
No.
It dies so easily.
Once this deck gets going, it's dead.
It's dead. Once this deck really gets going, it doesn't do anything. Okay, so the 3 stars for my Krond, the Dawnclad deck, starting at number 3, 3 Dreams. 3 dreams go on as I close my eyes.
And then this came up last time because my brain wants to go, 3 dreams are made of these. Searching your cards in your libraries.
Yeah, I mean, these are both very good, very, very possible options.
Yeah.
3 Dreams is 4 and a white for a sorcery that says search your library for up to 3 aura cards with different names.
No problem in Commander.
Reveal them, put them in your hand, shuffle your library. We talked about this, I think, was the Bruna episode. Any aura-based commander with white, you're going to run 3 Dreams in it because it's the only deck that ever wants 3 Dreams.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? It is actually better than it looks in some other decks, like maybe like a Daxos, the black and white Daxos deck.
Yes.
Because you might be running a lot of the arrest, pacifism type auras, right? Those are good too. And we have a couple of those. So actually 3 Dreams can get us some of those lockdown auras too. You don't need them quite as much because Krond does a pretty decent job of taking care of troublesome creatures. But 3 Dreams is fantastic. You always want this card. Number 2, Mesa Enchantress. This is actually part of like a group of cards. I didn't go into them in the other parts of the show because
Is this a spoiler?
this is not the spoiler.
Okay.
I didn't go into it because like we've done it like an Enchantress deck tech before, sort of. So Mesa Enchantress and what's it called? Verduran Enchantress?
I didn't put it in the text.
You didn't do it?
No.
Oh, okay. But they're the same thing, basically. Mesa Enchantress specifically is 1 and 2 white for an 0/2. Human Druid says whenever you cast an enchantment spell, you draw a card. So there's this one. There's also the one for when enchantments go into the graveyard, you draw a card. These are just great spells, and green-white is the Enchantress colors. So this deck wants them so badly. Those keep you drawing your lands like you need, keep you drawing your enchantments, your auras, and all that sort of stuff. Finally, the number 1 star, and for this I specifically chose an aura because the whole thing of this is that we're putting auras on Krond. So what's the best aura? Well, Shielded by Faith is one of the best auras printed in a long time. Commander 15 set. It's 1 and 2 white. It says enchanted creature is indestructible. Okay, that's great. Leave it there. Good aura.
Yeah, period.
But also it has, whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you may attach Shielded by Faith to that creature. So you don't need to wait around for Shielded by Faith. And I know I've said this before on the show because I know this was also a star in the Brewed deck. But Shielded by Faith, you put it on your Llanowar Elves on turn 3. No problem. Guess what? It just protects your mana there. Then next time you'll play maybe you'll play a Mesa Enchantress next turn. Guess what? Throw it over on her because now she's more important to keep. And then finally when Krond comes out, you put it over on him. And now your commander's indestructible, and you didn't even actually have to cast the art. He's already enchanted.
Yeah.
And it's no extra, and it just protects. It's the best protection. It's one of the best auras in the deck for sure.
That's huge.
Huge. That's huge.
Huge.
You know a guy named Huge?
Huge.
That's Huge. That's the decks he likes to play.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Shielded by Faith, great card. Those are the 3 stars of the Krond. Those are the 6 stars of Selesnya, as I guess we would have it.
The 6 Selesnya stars.
Yeah, there they are.
Any surprises and discoveries, Andy?
I did actually find some, and which is kind of surprising to me, considering we've basically done a lot of this style of thing before. But that's what's great about this show. One card that I think is probably well known to people who have decks like this already, but for me, I didn't even know about. But Umbra Mystic. If you're ever building an Aura Voltron deck, you know how good Totem Auras are. They're the kind that if the creature would die, you actually can just remove the Totem Aura instead, put that in your graveyard, and your creature will still live.
Yeah.
I do run a couple of them in here. Umbra Mystic basically turns all of your auras into Totem Auras. It's 2 and a white for a human wizard. It's a 2/2, and it says auras attached to permanents you control have totem armor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's ultimate protection, right?
If they somehow are able to destroy them beyond that anyway, sure, I'll just lose my... But like, you can't get rid of Snake Skin, right? I'm going to regenerate. If you got that Shielded by Faith, I'm going to be indestructible. It doesn't even... Yeah, man.
It's just extra protection, because sometimes you won't have those really good protection auras on them. You'll just have like the Ethereal Armor or like the Ancestral Mask. But now if you have Umbra Mystic out at the same time, you are protecting him.
Yeah.
Your commander. So that's great. So I like that card a lot. And also this one, which, spoiler alert, also is one of the more expensive cards in the deck. And I've never heard of or seen this card before. And I think this might be played in some other formats or something. Maybe that's why it's kind of expensive.
Yeah.
But this is a neat card for these sort of like low creature type decks. It's Ward of Bones, and it's an artifact that says each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. So enchantments, you're going to be able to cast some enchantments because I'm going to have a lot of enchantments. That's fine. Artifacts, I mean, this is probably the only artifact I'll have. Maybe I might have Swiftfoot Boots out as well. So artifacts are going to be tough to cast against me. Lands could go either way. I mean, green ramps quite well, but everyone ramps in Commander, right? Creatures, though, not a lot of creatures.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might have a Mana Dork here and there, and you might have Krond. 3 creatures, maybe. That means that if you've got 3 or 4 creatures, your board state's looking better than mine. Guess what? You can't cast creatures anymore. Animar, you can't cast creatures anymore. Don't care how cheap they are.
Don't care.
If you got more than me, when I got Ward of Bones out, you're just not going to be able to cast them anymore.
Wow.
So I thought that was a really neat thing. This I was thinking about like maybe this would be good in a Shu Yun deck where you really don't have a lot of permanents on the board.
Does it mean cast? Because it says play in the Oracle text, which is confusing to me. You play lands, but you cast spells. So what do they mean?
Okay, well, let's go to the card ruling here. It says, spelling this out completely. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards.
But why
Each
play?
opponent who controls more artifacts than you can't play creatures, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But play means play is cast and the land thing, right? Together.
Okay.
I think. If I understand it correctly.
I thought they got rid of that for spells because it was too confusing.
Maybe.
Well, anyway,
At
I'm
any
just
rate,
wondering, what
that
if
is
I
the
have?
Oracle text.
But if I have an ability that creates creatures, I can do that, right?
Yeah, because that wouldn't be playing a creature card. It says specifically here,
Oh, it does say card. Yeah, okay.
creature card. Same is true for
Okay.
artifacts, stamps, and lands.
Water bounds.
Oh, and it has play because it includes lands, right? So
Right.
That's why. So when it wants to encompass all of them, it says play
Yeah.
if lands are involved because you
Yeah.
don't cast lands, of course. Okay, so great. There you go. Ward of Bones. It's a very neat card.
That is a neat card.
Yeah, helps you lock down, helps you protect.
Very cool.
Before we get to the budget report, though, talk a little bit about Wizards Tower. The wizardstower.com, of course, our sponsor. We love them. They're great place to go and get all your Magic stuff, singles, sealed product. If you're in the States, they have a store now.
Yeah.
Storefront. Just go to the website, pull down the little flag, pull down the Old Glory there instead of the fine maple leaf.
The what do we call ours?
Does ours have a name?
Does it have a nickname? The white, the red and white.
The middle leaf. The leaf in the middle.
I don't know. But you know what? Well, I will show my Canadian pride by no longer crapping on the Canadian dollar and trying to get you to use the Canadian site that way.
Yeah.
Just use the American site. You can pay in American dollars.
There you go.
Get that free shipping on orders of $10 or more in the U.S.
And free shipping on orders of $15 or more in Canada.
In this CA.
Plus, of course, we cannot forget to say, use our coupon code in either store, Tower of Brews.
That's cool to just have. It's cool to roll in with a coupon code.
Yeah, it's cool to not have to search the internet
Yeah.
for Wizard Tower coupon code.
Yeah, just type in Tower of Brews, get that disc.
Get that disc, that compact discount. So check it out, wizardtower.com. Plus, you get 3% kickback on orders. You get 3% store credit for your next order, that means. Great place, man. Love it. Love it. Get your Eldritch Moon stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Get your Shadows over Innistrad stuff, right?
Yeah, man. Heck, get your
yeah.
get your cons block stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Why not?
Why not? So great. Yeah, check them out. They've been great to us. Definitely go look at the website. All right, now it's time for the budget report.
This is where we take each of the cards and rank them in the order of the guild that's their favorite. The ones that are are great, and the ones that are Selesnya
no.
do not make the cut.
No. So I mean, they're all Selesnya though. None of these are Izzet, so they're all terrible.
So then we will make an exception, and we will go with the best Izzet cards.
What? None of these cards are Izzet.
Okay, best Selesnya cards.
Well, there you go.
We'll go with the best Gruul cards, or the best Azorius cards.
You've lost it more than normally on this one, I think.
Yeah, I'm tired, Andy. I'm tired.
I love it. Okay, Sean. So what's your
just wait till the commander interview.
Oh, we're gonna see something special for that.
Okay, my deck, the Trostani Big Fat Tokens deck, came in at 48.82. The most expensive.
No, that's 46.82.
46.82.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're extra
even
relaxed,
cheaper,
so
even
we're like
cheaper.
a bit farther from the monitor than normal.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, look how cash we are about podcasting, right? Like, we're sitting back, relaxing. That's probably not helping my tiredness, is being so relaxed. We're also very far away from the monitor, so I can.
Yeah, exactly.
Most expensive card, more expensive than our rule. This goes over $5.
Oh,
this is
wow.
Entreat the Angels.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll go with it's a $6 card. It's got XX white. It's a sorcery. Put X 4/4 white angel creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. It's got Miracle though. Here's how Miracle works. If it's the first card you draw on your turn, you can pay X white instead of XX white. So it gets a lot cheaper. You can just knock out a ton of angels for dirt cheap. But is it worth $6? No, it is not.
Not worth $6, eh?
Not at all.
No, yeah, I didn't think so.
I mean, how often are you going to miracle it? I mean, you're going to forget most of the time and draw it and be like, oh, wait, I drew a miracle card.
Touch my hand.
Yeah, I touched my hand. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, cut that thing. Save $6. Get it to under $40.
Costs $9 for you to get 3 4/4 white angels.
The hard way.
The hard way, yeah.
Yeah.
The more common way.
The more common way, yeah. If you're lucky enough to miracle it and you remember, it only costs you like $6.
Yeah, it costs you 5, isn't it?
6 to
make
get 4.
3?
Yeah, 5 to get 3. It's a good deal.
That is a great deal.
It is a miracle, but like we can't do that. We can't count on that.
That's a miracle.
That is a miracle. Cut it.
Cut it.
Primeval Bounty. This is the enchantment that does everything. This one's coming in at $4.50. Do not cut this one. This one is worth it. This one stays in for sure. You're going to put out extra beasts. You're going to make beasts bigger, or you're going to gain life. I like all of those options.
Primeval Bounty is so good.
The third most expensive card is Thragtusk.
Ooh, still, really?
Yeah, it's almost $5. 4 and a green for a 5/3. Whenever Thragtusk enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. That's great. You're also going to gain 3 from Trostani. When Thragtusk leaves the battlefield, put a 3/3 green beast creature token onto the battlefield. Great, that's a beast. We're going to get another 3 from Trostani. But, I mean, we can do much better than this for $5. Like, let's cut this guy.
Yeah, okay. I like Thragtusk a lot.
He's great.
Even in EDH, he is very good.
He's very good, but like if we're talking budget, like this deck is about $35. I love that.
Yep.
Let's go with that.
That's true. Can't argue with that.
Sure. Just drop any like dumb Hydra that's less than $1.
Yeah.
That's dumb true. Giant Hydra.
And there's actually, do you have that one Hydra in this that has monstrous and it makes...
I do not.
That one's great for Trostani. Because it enters as a 7/7, and then you pay whatever to make a bunch of like 4/4 Hydras. You pay X and green, and you make... It's like Gelatinous Genesis.
It's like which I did not run because Gelatinous Genesis can make 1/1s.
Oh, it can, but you don't have to.
That is not allowed in this deck.
I see. Yeah, I see what you did
This deck is only 3/3s or bigger.
Okay.
For tokens.
Okay, so for me, my budget came in pretty low for me this week, $44, $44.70.
Oh, that's cheap for Andy.
Yeah, that's real cheap. I'm usually hovering around 50. I usually like to max it out.
Andy likes to play prices right, closest without coming over.
Yeah, exactly. And just because I just want to get some like powerful cards in there, but
yeah, why not?
This time I got all the cards I wanted in there and was pretty happy to see it fall well below 50. So the most expensive card in the deck was Ward of Bones.
Really?
Yeah, it's hovering around like 450 or so. It was interesting and fun to play with this card, but I don't really think you need it for that amount of money. You could easily drop this down to a $40 deck and get rid of Ward of Bones and put something else that helps protect you as a player in there, which I think is pretty easy. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff you could throw in there. Ward of Bones, decent card though, and it was fun to discover it, but I think you can probably safely cut it. Second most expensive card is Norn's Annex, which again, so we're trying to ramp into Krond, and there's going to be times when maybe you have to try and just get Krond out there, and then he gets killed, or there's a board wipe, he gets killed, and you need to like ramp back up to him, which can be difficult sometimes. So Norn's Annex is going to help us in that pre-Krond phase, as well as the sort of getting back after board wipes and that sort of thing. It's a 3 and 2 Phyrexian white, which means, of course, you can pay white mana or 2 life for each of the Phyrexian mana pips. And it says creatures can't attack you or a planeswalker you control unless their controller pays 1 Phyrexian white for each of those creatures. So they have to start basically hitting themselves if they don't have white mana or paying 1 white. This card isn't really, like, it's not the best version of this type of thing. Sphere Safety is obviously way better. You can get this down a little bit earlier and pay some life. But this card's about, what, like it's almost $3. It's like $2.80. I included it because I do think it's important to protect your board and just deter those attacks. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this one. What do you think?
Well, all of these cards, Propaganda, these ones, Ghostly Prison is really expensive. All of these cards seem to be just climbing a lot.
Yeah.
That's got to be pure EDH demand.
Gotta be, right?
It's got to be, right?
Ghostly Prison, I think, does see play in in Modern. I think that's where.
Okay.
That's
sure.
where that
But
card's
still,
price
like
is coming from. But
Norn's Annex, like I don't know, man. Like, yeah, it's good, but
I guess run it if you got it.
yeah, I mean, this will come down to playtesting. This will come down to your meta,
Yeah.
right? If you're in a meta where people will be a little bit kinder to you if you don't have a lot on your board and they won't attack you so much, these are not so necessary.
True, exactly. So yeah, play that one by ear. Norn's Annex. You can cut it though if you want. And the third most expensive card is Grasp of Fate, which is I always confuse for the one I read earlier as the indestructible one because they both came in Commander 2015. They were both new cards.
They're
and
both one white.
And they're both one white.
Yeah.
And they're both enchantments.
Yeah.
But Grasp of Fate is different, though. It says when Grasp of Fate enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to one target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. So it's in a Oblivion Ring, that sort of effect. But it hits each of your opponents.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
great.
Very good.
Very good.
And this card is just at about $275 or so. And I think it's well worth it. I think this is a great EDH card. I think you want this. Even if they're just going to kill your enchantment, you know what? When you got a Voltron guy, it's like, okay, I'll drop Grasp of Fate and take care of the one creature that was in my way. Or maybe there's two creatures in your way. Well, guess what? Grasp of Fate gets one out of the way for you, even just temporarily, and then Krond will exile the other one because he's enchanted and he attacks, right?
Yep.
So love these kind of effects, and Grasp of Fate's the best one of them. I say it's worth it.
Great.
There it is, budget report.
Budget report. That's sort of the sum up of the decks there.
Yeah.
One thing, the Trostani build that I was talking about, we got it down to like $35.
Yeah.
That's cheap.
That's very cheap.
And I think that always seems to happen when you're doing decks that are sort of just like, fundamentals of Magic.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Cast a lot of big creatures, attack with them, and outpower your opponents, right? We're not doing anything super clever or super shenanigan-y, which is why I love Izzet, right? Which is why I love shenanigans, right? But these are going to be great decks, and most of the pieces are interchangeable. If we worked, we could probably get this down to like a $25 deck if you want to just go for just simple stuff. So there's no reason to pay a ton of money to play Commander.
I wanted to bring this up real quick, and it's related to what you were saying sort of in the budget report. But in this deck, and in one we did a while ago, the Gruul tokens deck, I wanted to put Parallel Lives in there.
Yep.
And it's a card we featured on the show before. It's around $5.
Yeah.
Well, no, not anymore. It's not. It's looking like it's like $7 or $8 now.
Huh.
That's a card that is, man, like who's playing that card? It's just EDH. It's got to be, right?
It's just EDH.
It's not even as good as Doubling Season, and it's up over, and it seems to be crawling towards $10. If you'd listened to our show before, we were saying, when it was under $5 or when it was around $5, get that card. So, if that ever happens again, I feel like,
we called that.
If you're an EDH player and you want the card, that's probably true for most EDH players, right?
I feel like there's a special spot for those cards that are like Doubling Season is obviously way too expensive.
Yeah.
So then what's the next best thing? Oh, Parallel Lives. I'll buy that for $4.
Yeah.
Right? So
one's 30 and this one's 4. Yeah.
So when everyone has that mentality, then the one that's 4 starts getting scooped up. It's as if it's as if Doubling Season no longer exists. Right? In everyone's mind, we're pretending that doesn't exist and we're buying the next best thing.
Right.
And if that's the only thing that does that, yeah, it's going to start creeping up.
Primal Vigor, same thing.
Primal Vigor is so expensive, more than Parallel Lives.
Yep. And these are enchantments that, the last two especially, that don't do anything unless you've got it set up.
Yeah.
You've got your hand set up, or you've got your board set up, or whatever. So that's why I think they're like not really playable in other formats. They're really only playable in ours, where you have that time to set up sort of stuff up. So, anyways, this card you want. It's a card we used to be able to feature on here, but maybe that's like a new segment.
Hall of Retirement.
Yeah, we retire cards that are now too expensive.
Yeah, which cards did we brew with before that we no longer can because of price?
Definitely Parallel Lives. Definitely that red one in the Mizzix deck. I always forget the name of it now.
What's it do?
The buyback.
it casts everything in your graveyard?
No, the buyback copy a spell.
Oh, reiterate.
Reiterate, yeah.
Yeah, that was an anomaly, though. That one spiked to $30 overnight.
It's retired. Peace.
Yeah, it's
Peace
retired.
out. It's done.
Retire
when
the
we
number.
featured it was like $4 or $5 or something like that. Maybe
It was
$6. No, it was. I thought it was
No.
like pushing the budget.
No, it was like a few dollars. It made
like-
the top 3
Yeah,
cards, but
it
it
was like
wasn't like ridiculous.
$4 or something, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, and then it jumped to 30. Nah.
Yeah. Nah, man.
Nah,
man.
Nah.
Yeah,
nah.
time for that. So thanks for listening this week, everybody. We got time for you, of course. The listeners, you guys are the best, and viewers now on YouTube, of course. Hello. Check us out. You can check these decks out on tappedout.net/users/commandersbrew.
If you'd like to reach out to us on Twitter, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
I'm at Andy Hullbone.
The podcast is at Commanders Brew.
That's right. And get on iTunes if you want and leave us a rating and review. We don't mention that as much anymore, but it always helps. It's always good, and it lets us hear what you guys think. If you have suggestions that way, it's also a great way to let us know.
Yeah, commandersbrew.com is a way to see what's up.
We don't mention that enough.
We don't mention it enough.
We have a website.
We do, commandersbrew.com.
Commandersbrew.com. You can get the show there. You can get the video there. You can get additional content there. Links to everything else. Links to the decks. Links to the Patreon. Links to everything. Commandersbrew.com.
Yeah.
And I found out that you can look at the older posts way easier. I just
you
accidentally
can.
had the text the same color as the background. But that's more just something for me and Sean to talk about.
Yeah, so maybe Andy and I will put up our ranked guilds up there.
Ooh, we should do that.
We'll rank our top 10 guilds in order.
That's fun. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, check us out there. Of course, you can stay tuned and listen for the Commander interview.
Yeah.
We do that at the end of the show every time. Otherwise, though, we will see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Bye. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's, of course, the Commander's Brew Commander interview. And we're very lucky, as always, to be joined by one of the esteemed commanders that we've covered this week, Trostani, Selesnya's voice. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Just want to clarify, it's just me.
Yeah, I'm noticing usually Trostani is a dryad, and there are 3 sort of beings, and it's just you here today.
Yes.
So
Trostani, as we know it, is 3, and I am the middle one.
Oh.
I'm not the tall one.
Right.
I'm not the short one.
You're not the little cute one.
No, well, I mean, we could say that.
I mean, I'm not saying you're not cute.
No,
I'm just saying
sure.
yeah,
I'm
sorry.
the middle one. So
Right, the
my
middle
name
child.
is, so the tall, elegant front one
Mhm.
is named Troy.
Ah, Troy.
Right? And then the short and cute one is named Nia.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's nice. Yeah.
And
yeah.
then my name is Stan.
Oh.
When you put our names together, it makes
Oh.
Trostani.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. You got stuck with Stan, huh?
The majestic Stan.
That's pretty brutal for you.
Why is that brutal?
Oh, it's just that where I come from, Stan is like kind of like a garbage guy's name, like hey Stan, the garbage man, you know.
Garbage. The foe of the land, please recycle, please.
I will have to just quickly apologize. Sean couldn't be here today because he works at a dump now, so that's sort of related.
Making garbage or cleaning garbage?
I don't know. I don't know what he does there. He invested in a dump, I think,
Well,
as like a business. Anyways, not important. Stan. Okay, well, Stan, thank you so much for being here.
yes.
Of course, this is a very famous. Is that would I consider this a family? Like you're all sort of one.
We are one.
Yeah, you are one, but you do identify as a different. Like you're Stan. You're the.
Well,
different
yes.
part of
See,
it, right?
so what? The way I got here is, I followed a route
Okay, yeah.
through to your garden, and I came up through the floor, and here I am.
And here you are growing out of my wood floor. Yeah,
Yes,
that
I
makes
am.
sense. This is really great. So you are Selesnya's voice.
Yes.
So as Selesnya's voice, what does that entail as far as like an occupation? What do
Sure.
you do?
So we record. If you're ever on hold with Selesnya, you hear our voice.
Oh,
We tell you what button to push to get what department.
great.
If we tell you that what you are about to see may contain scenes of violence or nudity, for example.
Yeah.
You know, before shows.
Yeah, if you're ever watching TV when you're in Ravnica. I
Yep,
guess, yeah.
yep. In Selesnya specifically.
Oh,
We're
in
just
the gardens of-
Selesnya's voice.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
We're
Yes,
not the
true.
voice of...
Of all of Ravnica.
We're not Rakdos's voice. That's very, very loud.
Certainly not.
No, I mean, if you... For example, if you're in an elevator and it says the numbers, that's me.
Oh, that's you. So you're very
Do you want to hear a
prolific
sample?
voice work. I would love to, please.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
But we actually, like, that's... I keep making this mistake. You don't say the plain numbers on an elevator. You say 4th floor.
Correct. So you're just
And we
giving me
never say 1. We say lobby.
yeah, lobby or ground floor.
Or
is that
mezzanine.
mezzanine? Yeah.
Lots of mezzanines. And
So, but you were just running down the numbers, just showing me that you could say the numbers
sure,
also, just sort
sure.
of differently. But that's probably for your phone job. You probably would say the numbers.
Yes.
Press 1.
I do say numbers for that, yes.
So, as a voice actor, voice specialist,
I am a voice.
have you worked in any projects I might know, like the voice of, like, do you work on like cartoons or? anything like
yes,
that?
I did the voice of the animated detergent box for Selesnya's detergent.
What's that detergent called again?
It's called Clean As You Want.
Clean as you want.
Selesnya's cleaner.
Oh, that's great. Sounds like that's like an X detergent spell. So like if you only want it to be like 1 clean, you just paid like 1 and a green.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Yes, here's how it works.
Okay.
White, green, X.
Yeah.
Clean
Target shirt.
X dishes
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a dish detergent. Okay.
of X toughness or less.
Okay.
So if you only put a little bit in, you can only clean 1 dish.
Right.
And a small one.
dishes have toughness, right? They're like artifacts.
It's so that
They're-
stuck on grease.
That's the toughness.
That's the toughness.
and I'm assuming that clean as you want is tough on grease.
Oh, we're the toughest on grease. The toughest.
That's great. So what is it like growing up as the middle of Trostani? I mean, like you've got do you consider them like kind of sisters? Like, how's that work?
Okay, officially we are one, okay?
Right,
Officially we are one.
Yeah.
But like, you know.
You're capable of independent thought, though, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I'm capable of independent thought. And then Troy
Mm-hmm.
is capable of independent thought.
Yeah.
And since she's the big middle one,
Mm-hmm.
she usually decides where we go for the afternoon.
How's that though? That seems like it might be.
Oh, she
something that might
doesn't
get on your nerves.
She doesn't know that I'm here doing this interview.
Oh, is she like sleep? She must be sleeping because otherwise she would sort of be in control of where you are, right?
Yes, she thinks that I'm at a sleepover at my best friend's house.
So you're kind of sleeping out.
I had my best friend's mom call Troy
Oh, really?
and say that I was sleeping over, so she won't be looking for me.
That's a sneaky mom.
Oh yeah.
It's tough to find those types of moms around that'll vouch for you when you're doing something you're not supposed to do.
I
I once
might have-
had that happen to me. A sneaky mom vouched for me that I was at a party and there was no drinking, but there was drinking.
Ooh, a sneaky mom.
Sneaky moms. Thank you,
Sneaky mom.
Sasha Konstantinescu's mom. Just mention that real
That's
quick.
quite a name.
Yeah, yeah.
Romanian.
Romanian.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Good crew. Anyways, so if TV has taught me anything, the middle child usually has the hardest time growing up.
We
right?
do. Yes.
Your Brady Bunches, your Full Houses.
You're
uh,
Ed, and Eddie.
Your what?
Ed, and Eddie. Do you
Who's
remember
Ed, and Eddie?
Ed and Eddie?
Is that Malcolm Jamal Warner?
No. There was a cartoon with 3 kids named Ed.
I don't know that one.
Okay.
Is this one you voiced on? Is this a
Oh, I
Ravnica
wish.
only?
I wish. No, I believe this was Earth.
Okay, all right.
Circa the 90s, I want to say.
Man, I don't know that one. I
Okay.
don't know that one. I'll be
Okay.
honest. Maybe listeners will let us know about that. Let me know about that. But yeah. So, was there any like friction growing up with your other selves?
Well, it is definitely a pecking order. For example, Troy gets first dibs on things, and I have to get her secondhand things, and I get frustrated sometimes. And my only recourse is to fart on Nia to express my anger.
Okay. I mean, without getting into the
She's the little one. I have to
mechanics
do
of
it.
how a tree dryad thing farts.
We fart oxygen.
Oh,
so
wow.
we take in carbon dioxide and we fart out oxygen. And that's what you breathe as a person.
Oh, wow. That's gross. You just
Tree
grossed me
farts.
out. I'm breathing tree farts all the time.
That's the circle of life. And your exhales is what will fuel us.
Yeah, but you don't breathe in my farts. That's like methane and stuff. Like, that's bad gases.
It's in there.
That's poo gas. That's what we call that. It's a weird system we have here.
Giver of life.
Yeah.
I view it as fertilizer.
That's true. It's so, I guess, yeah. Poo is more the fertilizer. Anyways, we don't want to get so into that right now.
It's all about nature.
It's all
Green
about
and white. I
nature.
love this stuff.
Green and white. Okay, well, Trostani, or Stan,
Thank you.
thanks for being here, and thanks for talking to us about your life and what it's like being you and stuff.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to let the listeners know about before you go?
Please don't litter. And watch my upcoming, I do a small character on an upcoming cartoon in Selesnya.
Okay.
I do a popcorn kernel, and it's all about two witch teens that go to the movie theater. And I'm a popcorn kernel that gives them sage advice.
And the name of that show is?
Which would you rather?
Which would you rather?
It's
Okay.
not for children.
Okay, great. Well, we'll be on the lookout for that. Stan, thanks for being here, and thanks everyone for listening.